Welcome back to San Jose, California for Bellator 220. Once again, it's free. If you don't know me by now, my name is Jesse. This is the 6th round. And guess what? The fights are absolutely free this weekend. So if you are an MMA fan, proclaimed MMA fan, or you want to see what it's all about, then just dive on in this weekend as we have Bellator. And yes, it is absolutely free. First off, we have new top prospect in the lightweight division of Bellator, Adam Piccolo. He is going against former WEC featherweight champion and former UFC lightweight champion and Benson Henderson. Now, Adam only has 2 losses on his record. One is against Goto Yamaguchi, and of course, his most recent of loss 3 fights ago, David Rickles, where he lost by unanimous decision. Since then, he has picked up 2 impressive victories, but nonetheless, the first thing that we see when we look at his record is who the are these guys? It is not to put them down, and it's not to say that Adam Piccolo is not worthy of this fight against Benson Henderson, but we just have to call a spade a spade. Nonetheless, when we look at his highlight reel, when we look at the action that he brings to the table, first and foremost, he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. His stand-up is tenacious. He has fantastic leg kicks. He loves to set up his fight and keep the distance with those leg kicks, and he has amazing striking. This is exactly the fight that is tailored to put on one hell of a show, possibly the fight of the night, going up against someone like Benson Henderson, who has all those same attributes. They're similar in their styles. I mean, they're both BJJ black belts, both tenacious, both have Heart of the Lions, and they both have incredible power in their hands and their feet. No matter if they face a W or an L on the record, it is always a guaranteed amazing fight of the night, no matter who they are going up against. But when we look at Benson Henderson's record, Benson Henderson has been fighting champion after former champion after former title contender his whole career, whether it was at WEC when he faced off against Donald Cerrone, or in the UFC also fighting Donald Cerrone, Rafael dos Anjos, Anthony Pettis. But since coming into the Bellator banner, it wasn't exactly the most successful of a stint as he thought it would be. Yet, he has 3 out of 6 fights, but the people that he lost to, Patricky Pitbull, Michael Chandler, and Andrei Koreshkov, all former champions or current champion. Adam Piccolo has never fought a champion in his whole life underneath this banner. So I do think right from the get-go, because we know Adam Piccolo is a younger fighter, and we know he's going to go in there and try to take Benson Henderson's head off. I think Benson Henderson's key to victory here is to tire him, play the cardio game, see what kind of deep waters he can put Adam through, and see how Adam handles those deep waters. He can't get caught up into those close, wild exchanges, because those are the times we saw in the Rafael dos Anjos fight where he can get caught, and when he gets caught and take it to the ground, I think Adam Piccolo could take advantage there, especially with the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt experience. I do think that Benson Henderson is going to be hungry to make this streak a 3-fight win streak and to get back in a title contention, and Piccolo is the guy to beat to do that. If he beats him and beats him decisively, he can get right back into that title mix. I think you just got to keep changing levels, press it against the cage, make him tired, use your striking, switch it with a takedown, let him back up, try to threaten him with a submission. Benson Henderson will get this by the points on the judges card via unanimous decision. Now we're going to go up to the light heavyweight division, where we see previous Bellator light heavyweight champ and previous UFC longtime light heavyweight vet Phil Davis going against another previous light heavyweight champion in Bellator, and that is Liam McGeary. Now, Liam McGeary is on an extreme high, especially coming off of that victory against King Mo, where he knocked him the hell out. And this is perfect for him because before that, he was coming off a 2-loss stint, so that kind of propelled him and gained his confidence back. Phil Davis is kind of dancing the opposite dance here, where he's coming off a loss, a close loss, mind you, against Nadim Vedkov, and then before that, he was on a 2-fight win streak, looking awfully impressive, if you don't mind me saying. Not many people can say that they've head kicked Lyndon Vassell, and he has a very good cardio tank, especially with somebody with such muscle density that this guy has. Action figure. He can push that pace for the full 15 minutes. When we look at Lee McGeary, yes, his striking is good, and he's not too bad off of his back, as we saw in that victory against Tito Ortiz. But the one thing we should highlight in this fight, this is Liam McGeary versus Phil Davis number 2. Phil Davis had whooped Liam McGeary's ass previously, I just think Phil Davis has his number, because the biggest difference is the wrestling. Liam McGeary's gonna have to watch out for this, because although he's not too bad at his jiu-jitsu is not superb enough to negate the advantage that Phil Davis has with his wrestling. So I think that's Key's victory here. Phil Davis is just gonna be throwing Liam McGeary around. Just take him to the ground, keep him against that cage, and just ground and pound him at will. And I think that's exactly what Phil Davis is gonna do. And I do think this is gonna be another decision on this Bellator card, but nonetheless a very exciting fight. Now when we go to the co-main event, we have a women's title fight. New top contender Veta Arteaga taking on the current champ Lima Lay McFarland. Now, Leah Lay, let's just start off the fact of saying she is undefeated. She is 9-0. Her last fight was also coming off a UFC vet where she manhandled Valerie Latorno, which was that first real name test on her resume, because before that you didn't really know who the hell these fighters were, but she finally made it clear. She knows what it's like to get in there with a former top contender and manhandle her. Now it's proven that she is a real deal. Veta Arteaga, she's 5-2. In my opinion, this is a huge mismatch. When she fought Anastasia Yankova, she is super sloppy. When she smells blood, she just plants her feet, puts her head towards the ground, which is not where the fighter is, and she just swings for the fences, just those 3 and 4s for the whole fight. That's not going to work, especially in a title fight. It's very easy to see what Veta Arteaga is going to be about in this fight, and that she's going to take your head off. She has only 1 submission victory. To me, this is a huge mismatch, and I think that McFarland is going to expose Veta tremendously and honestly take her down in the end of the first round, and that is my prediction. I just think McFarland is going to be way too much to handle for Veta Arteaga, and it's just going to be proven that Veta Arteaga was definitely fed to the lions and was in no way, shape, or form even close to ready for any kind of title shot. And that's not to put her down and say she won't be in the future, but now is not the time. Now we're going to go to the main event. We have 2 former long-time UFC vets. We have previous WSOF welterweight champion John Fitch going against current welterweight Bellator champion and previous top contender, #1 contender, title challenger in the UFC welterweight division, and that is Rory MacDonald. Finally, Rory MacDonald is back home. He is back in the division that he should be. 185 when he got smoked by Gegard Mousasi doesn't really depict that he's not that amazing of a fighter. He's just way too small for those heavier dudes. But at 170 is where he can truly find his home, and this is where I believe he belongs. He's a much stronger fighter there. He's able to use his skill set as much as his wrestling and his power advantage that he normally has at the 170 division, and his killer instinct. When you come into the Bellator cage and you take out guys, first and foremost, like Paul Daly and then Douglas Lee via unanimous decision, it really puts a stamp on what kind of fighter you are. But John Fitch is no slouch. We remember John Fitch back in the day when he used to fight GSP. He's also fought Damian Maia, Eric Silva, Johnny Hendricks, Yushin Okami, Rosamar Pilares, also beating Paul Daly. There's no difference in the resume here. They have both fought top athletes, and them themselves are both top athletes. Even though John Fitch, you have like a PED thing going on right now, but I'm not going to get involved, but you're guilty. I do think this is not going to be a quick fight at all. The one strength of John Fitch, not over Rory MacDonald, is the wrestling. But I think the wrestling of Rory MacDonald, especially training in that tri-star camp with GSP and Faraz Zahabi, is totally going to negate the wrestling of John Fitch completely. And I think Rory is just going to be able to keep this on the feet and just smash John Fitch's head around. I don't think this is going to be on the ground at all. Like I said, I think 2 wrestling abilities are going to negate each other, cancel each other out. It's going to keep it to the feet, where Rory is far more tenacious and can take a far significant more beating whilst giving out a far more significant beating than John Fitch has ever endured or has ever given out in his career as well. So I definitely got Rory taking this fight. When I think he's going to take it in the championship rounds. John Fitch is just really going to feel the wear and tear and the tenacity of Rory MacDonald and is no longer going to be able to handle it. And Rory just going to be able to capitalize, maybe take him down near the cage and get a submission victory. But that is my predictions. Once again, guys, thank you so much for rolling with me. I hope you guys enjoy the fights this weekend. I know I will. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, or dislike, but subscribe anyway. Hit the notification bell, share it to all your friends. enemies. Leave a comment, either positive or negative. Doesn't really matter. Feedback is feedback. Content creator reacts to that feedback and adjusts accordingly, or just says, "F you guys, this is my channel, not yours." Just kidding. I love you guys. Thanks so much for rolling with me. We're going to see you next week. Peace.